fighters and the people in foreign countries that are helping the peace grow there also. Please help us when we make proper and correct choices in all that we do, and bless us in our travels. We ask these favors and blessings in the name of my Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please stand, face the flag, put your hand over your heart and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Looks like we need approval of minutes from July 7th, 2021.
We may need to wait until the next meeting. I was actually absent on that, and so I
Oh,
read
yeah.
through them, but
You weren't here to do them, were you?
I wasn't.
We'll have to, because I don't think I can make a motion and second it all at the same time, can I?
No.
I'm waiting for Steve to. Okay. We will table that until the next meeting. Commissioner, have you got anything on the administrative review reports, future agenda items?
I don't think I do.
You want to talk about COVID or just kick that can?
Not really. No. I did read in the minutes, last month that Commissioner Summers mentioned it. We are seeing a little bit of an uptick, Delta variant, whatever. Just continue to be smart. If you're concerned, be concerned and be careful. If you're out and about, just be smart and it'll go away
Exclamation point.
eventually. Yeah.
Okay. We don't have any fires that I know of in the county. Thank heavens. I don't see Tiffany or, have you heard anything, Sheriff? Do we have any?
There was one out west, wasn't there?
One yesterday, but I think they got it.
But
Yeah,
it was
a couple
pretty
hundred
quick.
acres.
Yeah.
I would 42.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, I don't think we've had any, so. You got anything else happening that you want to talk about that, since you've been gone, since you've been involved with, anything to bring up?
Let it rain.
Let's let it rain. There's a bunch of stuff going on this weekend, 24th of July. Go out to your local, I know Bear River City, and where else are we supposed to be at parades this weekend? It's going to have big, huge
Grouse Creek.
celebrations, Grass Creek. I know we're headed out that way too, so celebrate the pioneers coming in and then just pray for rain, like Commissioner Scott has been saying, so. Okay, it's 11:35 and we've got Janelle Love to come up. Janelle, is this you? Oh, okay. Well, we'll postpone that one in case somebody comes. And I guess we're up to Carl. Come on up here and put the mic next to you, Carl, and we all know you, but you're gonna have to put your name and who you're with, and
Okay. I feel like I'm being sworn in. No.
I'm sorry, sworn at.
Sworn
Here.
at.
Yeah.
Well, that I'm used to.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm Carl Mackley with the Bear River Water Conservancy District General Manager. Wanted to let the county commission know about kind of a request that we have. We are seeking funding for water projects in the county. We operate under a master plan. We've recently revised our master plan and added a drought resiliency plan to it. That was a pretty good effort that we involved with many of the public water suppliers, almost all of them in the county, and that's a good effort. It's helping to identify more and put in the line more of the projects that need to be done quicker due to drought, which we all would love to go away, but need to plan for one way or the other anyways. So that's on our website. It's added to our master plan. We're updating other plans and things.
Do you want to put that, say what your website is so everybody can actually?
brwcd.com.
Okay.
So that's on there. We, within the past couple of months, our board discussed whether we wanted to change the recommended tax rate and go through truth in taxation, and the board ultimately decided not to go through that process based on federal funding, especially ARPA, the American Rescue Plan Act funding that we believe is available this year. We're actively seeking funding there to combine with other federal and local sources to double our money. And I would say one of our biggest concerns is that we see the disparity between the growth rate in the county and water infrastructure getting further and further left behind, which ultimately means that we need more funding available to cover these types of projects. And so knowing that the county will receive approximately $10.8 million for funds associated with the ARPA, and knowing that water infrastructure is one of the main objectives of that funding, we would seek to ask the county to allocate some of that money to the Bear River Water Conservancy District so that we can implement projects around the county overseen by our board as we see best. I've had some good discussions with Jeff and with you guys through email to get your perspective on things. Just want you to understand that we're not being cute, we're not trying to be clever, or we're not a teenage daughter asking daddy for money, but we feel that there's really a strong need where growth is outpacing the ability of the water infrastructure to keep up with it in the county, and would even request up to a third of that funding be allocated for water projects in the county. So that's approximately 6.8. Is that right? Nope, that's not right. What is it?
3.1.
Anyways, at $3.6 million, which could be given out on $1.2 million per year for the next 3 years. So what questions do you have of me?
So what are the matching funds that you're looking at that would go with that
Well,
through state and Fed? Because you really can't match the Fed to Fed. You can't match ARPA funds with ARPA funds. So the state has their funding source out there right now where you can go out with their infrastructure.
mm-hmm.
And then now there's the big infrastructure bill, which hasn't been called out to. So there should be some more money in those infrastructure bills, let alone the ARPA funds. So
Yeah, we've looked for brick funding, which is also federal funding, but that money is really not going to be made available for projects. The only money that they're giving out for brick funding is for flooding.
oh,
We can get state revolving fund money. We can use our tax money. We just don't have the benefit of like the municipalities have of being given a direct allocation amount that we can
correct.
do what we see fit with, and knowing that the county has development plans and that water is critical to meeting those development plans. I'm trying to express that I feel like the disparity between the growth rate and water infrastructure keeping up is just, that gap is getting bigger all the time.
You know, I know you talked about tax, going through truth of taxation. A lot of water companies that I've been on phone calls with the governor now are starting to look at tiered water sources. So they're actually, you know, it's kind of a pay-to-play thing to keep people, that kind of stuff. Is that something your board's looked at to
Yeah, we've been doing that for a long time. In fact,
up in the tiered?
yeah, in fact, our board approved an emergency drought response plan that changed the tiered rate structure for the next year. We knew that we had to give people something, so we upped the base amount of water that we gave to people
Yeah.
and said, if you'll stay under this amount, that makes us feel really comfortable, and we'll let you pay the minimum amount for that. But if you go over, you're going to have to pay a lot
Right.
for it. So we gave them something, and we also made it pay to play on top of that.
So the state, I think it was just before you came on, the state came through. I know Mr. Holmgreen was there when we were talking about the new wells and the water allotments along the valley, and saying that there was new water sources that were able to be, are we filing on those as we go?
We, in 2018, when the groundwater policy for this valley, the Bear River Valley in Box Elder County, came out, we already had a master plan and we already had a plan in place, and we filed 5 applications for approximately 35% of the 10,000 acre feet available. That
So I knew that. I was just making sure everybody that's going to listen.
Great. And that's in litigation. I think that's actually, there's been a ruling on that already. I'm not privy to the details of that yet because it could be appealed. But so we have filed those applications. We filed them in locations that we thought that the groundwater quality and quantity would be available for the public.
Okay.
But there's no decisions made on those yet.
I know me and Jeff Scott, Commissioner Scott, sorry, Jeff, have been on plenty of calls about the Bear River Bay. And, you know, when we first came in 2012, 2013, they were saying that in 2020 they'd start the project. And now we're here in 2021, and we could have probably filled that Bear River Bay a couple times, you know, since 2012. How can we help you, if not with the entire project, but maybe start with a smaller dam, you know, somewhere to be able to capture some of that winter water storage that would help us in these times of drought?
Well, and I think that critical to the future of Box Elder County's water situation is coordination between the Conservancy District and Bear River Canal Company, plus the other public water suppliers. And we've never really done a collaborative plan that way. I've been talking extensively with the canal company about doing that, and getting some funding to combine with them on that. It's in their benefit too, because their service area is consistently being developed.
Right.
And so a collaborative plan would help identify those types of ideas.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I mean, we're allocated 60,000 acre feet from the Bear River Water Project. And, you know, I agree with Commissioner Summers 110%. They're telling us it could take 20 years to go through the NEPA process. And so if they started today, construction wouldn't begin until 2041. And that's about 20 years too late.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think if there's any way that we could push this, I mean, the worst time to build something or to do something is 10 to 20 years after you need it.
Yeah.
And so with a little bit of forward thinking, growth is not going to stop here.
No.
It's probably not going to even decline. And so I think that that is one of the most critical areas that we could be working. And I know that there's a lot of feelings on both sides of that about, you know, where it would be and, you know, what other bodies of water it would impact. But it's allocated. It needs to happen. I mean, it's not just us. It's 3 other districts, you know, almost a quarter of a million acre feet. So anyway.
Well, and something that a lot of us don't really understand, that allocation is really, the owner is the Division of Water Resources.
Right.
And the Development Act identified the 4 districts with an allocation, but my strong opinion is that we need to consider some other options as well.
Right, yeah, because that's going to take a while. I mean, best case scenario, even if they started tomorrow, you'd have, you know, the dam or the project going in 20 to 25 years. And
Yeah.
I love it how he talks dam projects.
Right?
so, there you have it.
We have also been in contact, and I don't know if you knew this, but we have a small allotment through the Columbia River in northwest Box Elder County
Yeah.
that we've never filed on. So I think they're looking into some of that. I've talked to Todd Adams here a little while ago about how we apply that in times of drought, how we can actually get that allotment to us, and maybe that'll help us in those situations also. So we appreciate you coming to us, and, we'll take that under consideration. You can see we're a man down, so
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
that'd be great. And have you got something else on the state contract? Is that what? No, that's not you. Sorry.
That's Sterling.
Starts with,
I'll let Sterling
with
talk
an M.
about that.
and I don't see Sterling, so thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
sir.
Good to see you.
Charles.
No, just the crisis we're in on the Bear River and,
You might have to come, now you spoke, you're going to have to come give us your name, so somebody in the background will go, who's that guy that was speaking in the back?
Charles Holmgren, Bear River Commissioner and Board of Water Resources and Bear River Canal Company Vice President. We had a meeting last Thursday, and there's quite a crisis on Bear Lake, and we're trying to get, some of us are trying to get extra water out of Bear Lake. There's people in Gentile Valley, which is just below Grace, Idaho, are out of water on the 27th of July. And so, but as nice a guy as I am, I'd like to help them out, but I got to protect my own shareholders first, so.
Well, and it's amazing to me that still I have kudos to those people who stood in this valley and said, hey, I think we can get that Bear Lake and bring
yeah.
it to this valley. I mean, we're sitting here on a decent amount of water where southern Utah has been out of water for quite a while. So we've been blessed in that aspect. And honestly, it's a good thing we've had good, generational farmers, like you guys that have taken care of their water. But there's a lot of people that have been spoiled too that seem to think that the waste ditch that's when your water's done.
Yeah.
And, we got to start taking a look and see what we can do with, some of this other type of planting and watering and stuff that's coming through, so we're not wasting the commodities that we have. So
Absolutely, efficiency is very important.
it is. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Hey, thank you. Tell your family hi.
Thanks, Charles.
See you this weekend at the Bear River place. You gonna come flip hamburgers or something? Okay. I don't see Sterling, do you?
I don't. You probably already received a copy of this contract, though, haven't you, Steve?
Did he get you a copy? Do we have a copy to sign?
I saw a copy in the agenda. The only question I had was, there was an amended amount, and then there was a major amended amount that basically doubled the size of the contract.
Well, that's what I think.
Is that just catching up from a prior year?
I'm not sure.
Because, it was a pretty substantial amount.
Can we table it then until he comes?
We can. I didn't know if he was just expecting it to be signed. Did he send anything to
I
you?
have one here, but I don't have direction on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it shows the original start date, the current ending date. The new ending date would extend to June of 2022. And so I think what it is the contracted amount for going through June of 2021. And then they turned around and they added on the amount for 2022 with that amended amount. And so I think it's just a 2-year, or just catching up.
Right.
So,
No, we can table it and I can have him be here to discuss it with you if you want.
yeah. It says the effective date of the amendment is July 1st of 2021.
If you want to
So-
make a motion on that premise, if we find out that that's what's going on, I'd be okay with that, and then we can get it done.
Have you had a chance to read through it though, Steve?
I looked at the terms. I didn't look at the amounts necessarily.
Okay.
So
But the terms look good?
terms are okay.
Okay. I would make a motion that we approve this contract, pending any additional information from Sterling.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Lyons? Oh,
Oh, yeah. We know what it is. This is a contract. Sterling Marks is the executive director of the Box Elder Children's Justice Center. It's a center here in Box Elder County that serves minors that have been victims of physical or sexual abuse. And so this is the contract with the State Attorney General's office for funding. So.
when you were in the back, I thought you said it was the Verizon. I thought a cell company was putting in some estate stuff, so I'm glad to see it Horizon.
Horizon.
There you go.
All right, first item is Horizon Estates subdivision. This is a 16-lot subdivision in the Fielding area. It's located at 16650 North, 4400 West. All lots are half-acre lots, and it has been reviewed and recommended for approval by all applicable county departments. Also comes with a subdivision improvement agreement, as there is one new road that would go in as part of that subdivision. So,
Water, Yukon.
yes, I believe
It's in
so.
Fielding, should be, unless they got their own, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion that we approve the Horizon Estates subdivision.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And the second item is the ordinance number 532. This ordinance was, the road vacate was approved following a public hearing at your last meeting. And the county road vacate policy just states that the ordinance would come back for adoption at the next county commission meeting. So it's here for your adoption and signature.
I'd make a motion that we approve ordinance number 532, the Godfrey Road alley vacate.
I'll second that motion. I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
You want me to sign that now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Do you have a sticky down there?
Yeah, I've got some.
That's the road vacate. Sorry. It says chairman. Oh, that's planning commission chairman. Sorry.
We'll sort that out. Oh, okay, this one, she's down. I can pass it over to you.
Good there?
Yeah.
Right there? Okay.
Looks like Steve needs to send this one.
Do you have your, this one does need a notary. Okay. And this one, I believe, needs a notary as well.
Looks like the boys coming home, huh?
You know, got home in the night.
I seen his post
Yeah.
this morning. I was on some post stuff.
Yeah, he
He
had,
really grew, hadn't he?
he had a good time.
That's awesome.
Holy crap. There's a stack there.
That's why I asked her to bring him up then. Double. Thanks, Scott. Okay, I think we're to a recess, aren't we? Marla, you keeping up on me? I think I just passed my thing to Jeff for. And- Okay. I don't see Janelle and those guys from, that was my last one with the Boys and Girls Club. Okay. We're gonna, okay. I'm gonna take a recess and go into our RDA. I don't need a motion, do I? were all doubled and tripled. I think Okay, I'm going to call the Wednesday, July 21st, 2021 RDA, Redevelopment Agency, meeting to order. I need a approval of minutes from March 25th, 2021. Wow,
It's actually 6/16,
it says 6/16.
June 16th.
Actually, I need a approval of minutes from 6/6/16. Good thing it's not 6/6/6.
I was going to say, that's the ones I read. So, yeah, I'd make a motion that we approve the minutes from June 16th, 2021.
I'll second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye. Marcus and Stewart, you guys want to come up and kind of give us a little bit about the adoption of the, and then if it gets to be noon, I'll open up the public hearing and then we'll get to that after that. So
Yes, for the record,
come sit up here, Marcus,
Yeah.
and then just
Yeah,
pass around who you are and
yeah, for
what
the
you're
record,
for.
Stuart Clayson with Utah Association of Counties.
Marcus Lee, Utah Association of Counties.
So what we're doing today is holding a public hearing on the project area plan that's been developed, specifically targeting logistics and industrial development countywide. And we've had meetings with the school district and the two major cities that are in the area, and everyone kind of recognizes that this is by no means obligating any dollars, but it's preparing the county for impending growth and development in the industrial and warehouse and distribution space. So we're going to hold a public hearing today. You guys will open that up, and then we'll close it, and then at following meeting, we'll adopt the plan with resolution as the agency, as well as the commission will adopt it by ordinance.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, you got anything, Marcus? Got anything to say? How'd I miss that?
One amendment. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in the original plan, there were about 7 properties identified. However, new information came to light that the Reeder Ranch subdivision and the airport parcels are included in a Brigham City
RDAO.
project area already. So those
Okay.
will have to be, well, they have been removed from the draft and they can be passed
Okay.
in the next commission meeting.
Okay. Well, I'll wait about, don't want to talk for 2 more minutes, or
Not unless you want to hear our voices.
I'll open it up in 2 more minutes, and maybe I'll just, if I'm in RDA, I can't talk about Boys and Girls Club, so I guess go back and sit down. If we got any questions at the end, we'll
Okay, thank
talk
you.
about what's going on. Thanks, you guys. Give me 1 minute now, and we'll open it up for public hearing. I don't even hear the bells outside. It must not be early yet, right? Or the bills? Pretty close. Oh, there it goes. As the bell tolls, we're going to open up the public hearing specifically to this adoption of the reinvestment areas for the stuff that we were talking about that Stuart had talked about, with specifically transportation and investment and things with moving of not only like inland port and other avenues like that to be able to be done here within the county. So if anybody has anything to say, they want to come up and talk specifically to those issues, they'd be more than welcome to come up now.
Okay, Deanna Hardy, Brigham. I don't think this is a good idea because we do not have enough water to service the people that we have here now. And with the adoption of this investment programs, you're going to be bringing more people to the county, and we don't have enough water for everybody. I see that this is a problem that the state has brought on itself because of government-controlled economic development. You bring businesses here, you bring people here under the advantages of tax exemptions, tax advantages, or tax incentives. And then we, the people here in the state, have to pay more for the infrastructure. And then you have more crime, pollution, more taxes. We are struggling now with water because the state really has brought this on upon itself because of their unwise decisions to do these things. So we should get rid of the government-controlled economic development, allow people to come here on their own dime, and if we have water to service them, that's fine. But if we do not, we're going to have to say, sorry, we just don't have enough water. We are the second driest state in the country. And so I don't understand, because NSA, they brought the NSA in, they use tons of water for that business, for that organization.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the Box Elder County and the things that are proposed in here, so.
But it's still an effect of what's going to happen here, because we don't have enough water here. So how can we help bring in more industry, transportation, if we don't have enough water to service people?
And actually, we're helping the logistics for the people that are already here. As the Nucors, the P&Gs, the other people that actually can put things on trains, can actually cold storage stuff here. So there's really not that many jobs associated with this stuff. It's more like logistics to try to help get on trains and take trucks off the roads. And so the water situation, with some of the things that are happening now, will actually help in the water situation. So there's not that much stuff going on with that water storage. And when they come here, they have to be able to come in and see if they have so many jobs, and when they go to the school district, and see how that applies and see if it impacts them too. But most of the things right now are actually just trying to help with logistics with those things. So it
I
really doesn't
understand that,
impact
but I still think the people are going to be forced to pay for this, right?
No, they don't pay for it. It just comes out of the taxes on that ground. So the people don't pay anything for it. It has nothing to do with your personal property taxes.
But didn't you just say that taxes come out of that ground?
Well, I know we've been through this before, but do you want to try to explain it, or do you want me to try to? He can, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. The way tax incremental financing works is it's not taking from any existing taxes that are collected and being used within the county. It sets a base rate of what the existing tax revenue is, and if there is if a company comes in and makes an investment and goes vertical like a Nucor, that creates new taxable value, and that new taxable value is what's made available in the form of an incentive, and that incentive is not approved without buy-in from all the taxing entities. So for the school district to participate, they have to see what the impact is, if any, and the value is for participating in that project. But there's no tax dollars being given up by any of the taxing entities in this model. It's all post-performance, and it's based on that company making that investment. And then for the incentive to be provided, it's predicated on some kind of value that goes back to the county and those taxing entities. So if jobs is a measurement of success, that's one. If it's infrastructure, and I think what's being looked at here is from a logistics standpoint, Commissioner Summers was speaking to the opportunity of leveraging the position that Box Elder has with 2 interstates and being able to kind of be a hub for distribution for the Intermountain West. And so it's more about capital investment coming in as opposed to job creation. I mean, job creation could be part of the equation, but it's more about getting capital investment and the infrastructure upgrades that would come from that. This creates an ability for an investor or a company to make public infrastructure upgrades and potentially be reimbursed. reimbursed for those. But all that's to be determined, and that will also happen in a public meeting. All that's being done today is identifying areas throughout the county that all the taxing entities are comfortable with deeming prime for kind of industrial development as opposed to like residential or commercial or retail. But there's no money being given up. It's all predicated on going vertical and creating new taxable value. And if that doesn't happen, then there's no money to even offer as an
In
incentive.
post-performance.
Yeah.
And we can add, you're going to have to come up just a second after she's done. We'll let you come up and talk. Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're talking about, so.
Okay,
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but it's just the same thing with what happened with Procter & Gamble. You brought Procter & Gamble in, you had to create the infrastructure to help them get to where they are, which increased the land value, right? The people that sold the property to Procter & Gamble, they made good money. But then the people who are right around Procter & Gamble, their land value has now increased. They're not moving, but now they have to
if
pay
they wanna
higher
sell
taxes.
it.
Well, now they have to pay higher taxes because you have
If
brought
it's in Greenbelt, it's not.
Well, not everybody's in Greenbelt. There's
Most of the people around there is in Greenbelt, but that's like I said, if they sell it, the taxable value would go up. But if they just keep it in Greenbelt, their taxable value is not going to go up.
Well, and I have been looking more into this increment value, and it is from the United Nations Agenda 21.
Yeah, well, that's for another thing, so.
Well, it's all
I've got somebody
connected.
behind you that wants to speak, so,
Okay, but it's all connected.
thanks. Come on up.
I don't have that much to say.
Oh,
If there's no taxes involved, who's paying for all those new power poles that have gone down 6 north for that development out there?
That's Brigham City Corp.
yeah, Brigham City Corp, I guess. That's not where you,
So there are tax dollars being expended on it.
I don't know if that's in an RDA or what it is.
I heard something else out in my place, Fifth West, where it ends there on Wilson Lane, that Brigham City has bought that road. Got some development right there now. That's tax dollars being expended to help a private.
I have no idea what Brigham City's doing.
I'm actually a little bit privy to that. I know somebody in the power department. It's part of their redundancy program. It's an additional circuit that's going around the outside of the other town, so that if a substation,
Wilson Lane is the end of town. There's already a road there.
yeah, so if a substation goes down, they have a redundant circuit, and they can go ahead and pick it back
You're
up.
talking about the power poles.
Right, yeah, the power poles. Yep.
So that's not going out to that property west of the freeway.
Not that I'm aware of.
I have heard, well, if you're talking about the stuff in Reeder Ranch,
Isn't that one of your redevelopment agencies west of the freeway?
well, that's been taken off because it was already in the RDA.
That's part of Brigham
That's
City.
part of
That's something they
Brigham City.
did.
That's something that,
Yeah.
we were just looking at places that had rail access to highway.
I know what you're doing. My concern is I got 20 acres pulled into this because instead of stopping at the tracks or someplace normal, they've come up to
Yeah.
west. Why are they coming up to Fifth West in Brigham City?
I don't know.
I think, yeah, like she says, you're not gonna get thing now, but as soon as all that one section goes into houses, it goes up, then your taxes go up.
I need to have your name on, because it's being, so I need to know who you are and where you're from. So can you tell me?
I'm Brad Glover. I talked.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if that was you or not, Brad, so,
But I don't
Okay.
know what this.
Did you hear that?
All I can see is future taxes going up because the guy next to me develops that property. And it looks like it's being handled, developed by Brigham City Corporation by buying that road. Are they gonna pave that road for that guy? And it'll be paved right up to my property.
I have no idea. Are you talking about
The next domino to fall.
are you talking about the stuff that's out west, just on 900 North?
Tracks right down here on,
900 North, off of 900 North, where they just bought that part of Reeder Ranch.
yeah, right there.
And that's, like I said, Brigham City stuff, we just talked to them last week, and
Why is it in this redevelopment agency? Why is any?
well, they just pulled it out. So they just,
Well, why didn't you tell me that to begin with?
well, we didn't really know that was actually going to happen until our last meeting, but we were going to try to keep it in just for the plain fact that, I brought somebody up yesterday that was looking at the airport and the surrounding ground around the airport as logistics hub. because it's got rail, it's got all this other kind of stuff. So when it says about, your taxes aren't going to increase if you're in Greenbelt unless you sell the property. Or change it from Greenbelt to another use. So if it goes to commercial and you want to try to sell it for commercial, then your taxes are going to go up.
So does anybody have any information? The rumor I heard was that eventually they were going to take that fifth way. It was the old Bamberger
Right,
way.
right.
That they were going to take and run a road down that would cut like all the property owners out there that go to the tracks.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Bottom piece off.
I haven't heard.
So when you say it's been taken out, what part of it?
We took the whole thing out of until at what time?
It's in an existing project.
It's in existing project area now
So the city has a project here.
through Brigham City. Yes.
Stuart Clayson. The intent here from the county's perspective, it is to identify areas both so local residents like yourself and outsiders who are, because there's going to be investment here, and it's you all have already seen it. And what's going on, especially in the industrial space, is you now have organizations like the Boyer Company, which is a pretty substantial developer in the state that operates the BDO in Ogden, which is about to be fully built out. They've acquired almost 400 acres here, and they're going to more than likely start building spec industrial buildings. What's happened thus far in Box Elder County is most of your industrial buildings that have gone vertical have been for a user, like a Nucor or Procter & Gamble. But because of just kind of real estate economics, when you've got property in Salt Lake and their industrial area trading at like $15 to $20 a square foot, the natural progression is to come into markets like this, where you can get your cost basis for acquisition lower, and they're going to build speculatory buildings. And what we're trying to do is not give anyone an incentive. We wanted to use the tool of tax incremental financing to identify these areas so that we can be intentional about infrastructure investment from a countywide perspective and have some say over how the development happens. And that requires this body to engage someone like yourself so we can have these open conversations and be prepared, because I'm just going to, I think whether we want the growth to happen in Box Elder or not, it's going to happen. It just is. So then what this body is trying to do is get ahead of it so that we don't go the path of like Lehigh, which is, I think if you drive down Lehigh, it's a dumpster fire. Like I'll be on the record calling it's a nightmare. And as this community transitions from being, agricultural based, and I mean, it's happening, this body is trying to do with this mechanism, trying to be thoughtful about the investments and have an open conversation where you can ask these questions. And as it pertains to what the city's doing, we're removing that because those parcels that you're talking about, because they're already in a project area, and we're happy to connect you with, with the city manager so you can have those conversations.
You're saying all that, the packet that I got that had those properties, that's
Yeah.
in Brigham City's
Yep.
project, so they've got something going there. It's not, and you guys.
Well, they've had that in a project area, I think, since the 70s.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
Reader Ranch.
It's not that serious
Yeah.
area, but I didn't have any idea that it came that far east.
I think so.
And
you'd
we're
have to
just
ask
trying to create a level of coordination. No, I mean, well,
You know what, you got a whole county full of stinking desert. Put your buildings on the desert.
If I-15 was out there, it would be. That's the thing. And when we talk about water and infrastructure and building and all those kind of things, we made a decision cognitively 5 years ago to try to help the businesses that are here.
Yeah.
If they want to expand, try to help them expand and try not to bring new businesses in, because of the plain fact of we have no people.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure, let alone with everything else that's going on. So like when Nucor comes to us and say they want to expand, we just as soon have that as bring in some other company that's going to bring in another 350 jobs and start competing. And I've had CEO people from other companies call me and say, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? We've got 2,000 houses right now being built in Box Elder County. So whether or not we want the growth, like you said, it's going to happen because you might not want to sell your ground. And I don't know if this is your son sitting next to you, but when you're gone and he might not want to, but you know, like you just said, the pressure of everything happening along I-15, because if Utah's a crossroads of the West, Box Elder County's a crossroads of Utah.
Yeah.
We've got 35,000 semis coming through here a day and about 40,000 cars. So,
And it's I mean, if you look around, the reason you also from a semi-service related, the reason you have that is because where we sit, just kind of geographically, and what can be serviced within your drive
Yeah, you
times.
look at these truck stops and these gas stations, you think, there's no way they could be doing any business, and every one of them is full.
Full up.
All the time.
yep.
And I just think what's nice about what the commission is trying to do with this is to try to get ahead of it in a thoughtful, coordinated way. And we've had pretty deep conversations with both Brigham City and Tremonton about how this coordinates because and we're just trying to be thoughtful about it. And so if we know where business is going to be, then you can then kind of start thinking about residential and where that can be and how we can have a level of, the term that planners use is called smart growth, but just trying to kind of absorb it in a way that doesn't displace displace the companies that are scratching for employees right now. That's point. But then the existing residents, so that it's done in like a coordinated fashion, and it minimizes what it's doing both from a tax standpoint, from a land use standpoint, and this is not what we're doing here today is not going to solve all of that. This is like one little piece in trying to be coordinated from a regional perspective.
This all started with an agricultural business that honestly came to us and said, how can I get to the point where I'm not putting 300 trucks a day to Salt Lake? And so then we started looking at the inland port and our connections with the rail and connections with I-15 and 84. And this has kind of grown out of that. And then all of a sudden, everybody, Box Elder County is now not a secret. They know that our logistics were 12 hours from anywhere. Canada, East Coast, Mississippi, Mexico, we're 12 hours from here. And you don't have to go into Ogden or Salt Lake and get into that cluster hole, to say the least. So, and it'll help this business. It'll get their product 3 weeks to 6 weeks earlier to market. And it saves them, I think he told me it was taking them about 8 hours to go and back, so they could get maybe one trip down and back. And if they could do it here, they could actually do 2 or 3 trips a day.
You're not actually out there trying to get business because you got to protect what you have here.
Well, and protectionism is probably just like.
Maybe that's not the right word.
No, I get what you're saying. We're on the record. I think it's less about protectionism and more about like thoughtful long-term planning for the community. And I don't want to kind of sit up here and beat up on Lehigh, but I think. And I think that was all well, and I don't think they were prepared. I mean, that was a farming community that like effectively overnight just became what it became. And I think if the leadership within that city and probably within the county, if they could go back and do things differently, they would. And I think what you're having here from the county leading out and working with the municipalities within the county, trying to be prepared and absorb it in a way that doesn't.
So if they want to come in, you've got some areas to say, look here, and they are, out by that cement plant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And the nice thing about it is by having this set up, they can come and they can say, this is where we want to be. And now, because you have the potential of investing as a community in their project, you can put parameters on what they do. Does that make?
Sure.
And we can come in and tell them it's going to take $2 million for new telephone poles and stuff like that. Widen the roads. And I won't be around here when your boy comes back.
Should be. Look, I'm very suspicious of anything that's too well organized. But I think the intent. Thank you for showing up, because this is why you have these public hearings, so you can have conversation and you can ask questions about what's happening.
And this all stemmed from a barbershop visit that I had when I was running for office, and he was in the barbershop, which was fine. Thank you.
When you say community investment, that does mean us, the taxpayers. We will have to help
No.
support this
He won't.
We've had Procter & Gamble, we did the agricultural business. Our school district, our taxes there keep going up and up, and they're going up again.
Well, that's another thing for another day, because,
It's all related.
okay. Well, anybody else got anything to say? Does your boy want to be on the record?
Be the only one here.
Really?
10 years.
Okay,
So procedurally, when you,
I'm gonna
after closing the
close this.
public, yeah.
okay. Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'd make a motion that we close the public hearing.
I second that motion. I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
So then at our next meeting, we will convene the RDA again and.
Thanks for
with the-
coming.
With the amended plan, with the removal of the parcels,
Okay.
pass it by resolution, and then we will also pass it by ordinance. The commission will pass it by
Okay.
ordinance. So
Thanks,
we'll-
you guys.
We'll work on we'll have that ready for the next meeting.
Awesome.
Thanks, you guys.
See you
Thank you.
next Wednesday, Thursday. When's our brag meeting? Next week?
Wednesday,
Wednesday. Okay. Thanks, you guys.
over the hill,
Yeah.
over a couple of hills.
I'd entertain a motion to close the RDA.
I'd make a motion that we close our RDA meeting.
Second. I got a motion by Commissioner Scott, a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to reconvene our regularly scheduled business meeting. I don't see Janelle or Jenny. We were talking about how they got the best in state. Oh, you need to change tapes? Excuse me. I even called them and invited them. Didn't remind them this morning. Oh, no, I'm talking about the Janelle and those guys. I talked to him last week, and I just said, okay, we're back in our regularly scheduled business meeting. I just had heard that our Boys and Girls Club of Northern Utah had been recognized best in state for a nonprofit for their work during the pandemic, being open the whole time. So I just want to make sure that Janelle and Jenny and the crew out there at Boys and Girls Club realize that we recognize them too as being best in state and best in county for the things that they've done during the pandemic, as they continue to do. It's like they just kind of pulled up their boots and went to work and didn't ever look back. So we appreciate them, and hopefully this gets back to them. So
And let's see. August 6th, if you do have the opportunity, they're having their annual fundraiser at the Box Elder County Fairgrounds. So
great event.
great organization to support. So
Great event. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to go into a public, or, yeah, that one, to discuss, closed session, discuss personnel. Anything else? Anything? Going once, going twice?
I will second that as soon as I sign this.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Second.
What's that?
What is that?
He did. I can't make the motion. But I'll second that motion now, and I will, I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Summers. All in favor? Aye.